Hello, hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome, welcome. Welcome back, everyone. This is Anne, and welcome to Anne Wrap. So, today I'm going to be showing you 4 different things. So, I do make my own French hook or fish hook for my earrings. These are the ones. And I also make my own bracelet clasps. I do have 3 different designs that I use a lot on my bracelets, and I will show you how to make all of those. So first off, the tools that we need to use. We're going to be needing round nose pliers. You're going to need your nylon jaw pliers, flush cutters, and your tweezer nose pliers. Okay, you can also, if you have a flat nose pliers, that's fine as well. We're going to need our hammer and a bench block. Okay, you're going to need your tape measure. So first thing I wanted to show you, we're going to be making the French hook. Whoops, butterfingers. French hook. This is what we use for earrings. I'm going to show you some examples of my earrings. This one is before oxidation, just so you guys can see the fish hooks or French hooks. And this one has been oxidized. This is 2 different styles actually. This is like one of the very first ones that I made, which I hammered almost the whole thing except the tip. And I figured if I put the swirl or the loop on the opposite side, it will look so much better like this. So this is the one that I currently use. That's for our earrings. You can push that aside. So for the French hook, you're going to need 2 inches times 2. I am using 18 gauge round, dead soft. I already have them pre-cut right here. So that's the nylon pliers is for you to make sure that you straighten out your wires before you cut them, or you straighten them out before you make anything. Okay, so we're going to put those aside. That's the first one we're going to use. I just wanted to show you. The next one would be the bracelet clasp. Okay, this one has that double swirl. I call it the double swirl. All of my clasps is made of 14 gauge round dead soft wires. Okay, this one's been hammered and oxidized. So that's the double swirl. So for the double swirl 14 gauge round dead soft wire, we're going to need 3 inches. Okay, and this one has the single loop. Okay, this one has also been hammered and oxidized. This one is 14 gauge round dead soft, 2.5 inches. Okay, and I do make small clasps, especially for because I do have customers, they really don't like the ones that the clasps that are too big. If they want tiny ones, or if I make bracelets for kids, this is what I use. So this is 18 gauge round dead soft. We're going to need 2.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples. This is one of the bracelets that I made. This one has the single swirl or single loop. And there's another one of the single loop for one of my bracelets. This one has that double one. And this one has that 18 gauge, so I did the double loop because the customer wanted the loop on both sides, but she wanted a double loop, so I did the double loop instead of the single. Okay, so we're going to need the bail making pliers for both the clasps and French hooks. Okay, so the first thing we're going to make our French hooks for our earrings. Okay, so we're going to take our 2 inches 18 gauge dead soft wire and our round nose pliers. We're going to use the very tippy tip to make a smaller loop. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that. So have that. Make that loop. Okay. So just a small tip, you guys, if you are making anything with pairs, like earrings, pair earrings, especially, what I usually do is I usually make them simultaneously, so I can, it's easier that way to make sure that you have, it doesn't need to be perfectly the same, but you know, similar or close to identical. Okay, because you don't want to like for instance, when I made these earrings, I did them simultaneously. So like when I did one side with one, I put that aside, and then I did the same side on the other one as well. So okay, so we're gonna do the next one. Also, one more thing, that make sure you guys the tip of your wires are flushed. So usually I use the flush cutter to make sure that the tip is flushed. Just snip a little bit. So it's flushed. Okay. So we're going to make a loop for this one as well. Okay. So now we're going to take our bail making pliers. So for this one, I believe. So we're going to be using the biggest size. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll do it this way. Oops. Hold it with the loop facing the second size, because we're going to loop it around this side right here. Okay. I'm going to change my angle here so I can do it better. Then just use the tip of your finger to push it down while you turn your bail making pliers around. Okay. Okay. So you're going to have a little extra. It's okay to have extra. I'm going to do the same one on the other side. Okay, it doesn't need to be right up against it. You can leave maybe like a 0.1, about a 0.1, 0.2 inch. Okay, turn it. Now we'll take both of them. Don't trim them. Don't trim them yet until you make both. Okay, so we're going to put both of them right next to each other. You can even use your bail making pliers. Okay, but you can use your hand. So we're going to trim just a little bit. Take our flush cutter. Okay, see that? So I usually use a small file. I do have a small file that I use for the tips. And the last part, we're going to take our flat nose plier, grab the end, and we're going to just bend slightly. Okay, you guys can hammer this part right here as well to give it you know, to make it a little stronger. Okay, so that's that. Super easy. Okay, the next thing we're going to make is our double loop or double swirl bracelet clasp. Okay, so this one I use 14 gauge round dead soft wire, 3 inches. Okay, so let's go take our long nose pliers over here to make sure that my wire is straight. This is a thicker wire, it's the 14 gauge, it's a thicker wire. So, and like I said, you guys, the end I already cut them. They're both flushed on each side. Okay. So for this one, you can use your round nose pliers, but I like using the bail making pliers. The smallest one is what we're going to use for the first loop. Okay. So grab that end. Okay, make that first loop. Don't loop it and close it, or loop it too close to this side, because when you hammer it, it's going to expand. Okay, so you can straighten that out. You can use your flat nose pliers. Grab it on this side. And we're going to turn slowly, just pushing at the bottom. Don't grab too tight. Again, you guys can use your other ones to kind of match it. Okay. push it down just a tad. There we go. Okay, so for this one we used the second from the biggest. Okay, so our loop is going to face this way, putting it right up against the pliers, and then we're going to turn, slowly turn this way. Okay. Let's straighten out a little bit. So we're going to trim just a little bit. You don't have to, you can use this if you'd like, but I think I need to trim just a tad. Okay. Again, you guys can smooth that end. We're going to grab the tip and we're going to put a little bend. Okay. So let's go grab our bench block and our hammer. I put a little cloth at the bottom so it doesn't make too much noise. It's like my shock absorber. So we're going to hammer the swirl or the loop. Okay. Just slowly up and down. Don't do it sideways, because what's going to happen is you're going to put little dents and it's not going to be even. Okay. But if you want to put a little hammer texture to this, to make it look kind of like to make your own little hammer texture design, you can do that as well. You can use the tip of the round side of your hammer, but this time we're going to use the flat side. Okay, up and down motion. Work your way up. Gonna be noisy, sorry you guys. Okay, so that's one side. We're going to flip it and do the other side. Okay, maybe a little more right here. So I hammered it all the way to here. You can hammer it all the way, it's up to you guys. So that's pretty strong right there. Okay, now when you put it on your bracelet, so the reason why I have the swirl not touching each other yet, so it looks like we have more swirl on this one, but you can still take your pliers and oops, put a little more swirl to that. because you have to have that room for your jump ring. There's the other one. Make this. Okay, you can either put the jump ring on the first loop, or you can put it on the second loop. Okay. This one's going to have to, I'm going to be using the bottom part. Or you can use your flat nose pliers to push those closer to make this. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, the next one is going to be the one with a single loop. Okay, so this one I use 14 gauge round dead soft wire, 2.5 inches. Okay. So much fun, you guys. It does take a little more time, but I do love seeing the whole entire project or a whole entire piece handmade. Okay, I mean, you can have, I did buy some jump rings, but I like my 14 gauge ones, and this one I use 18 gauge. I also make my own bracelet chain. We're gonna make a tutorial, probably gonna make a tutorial after this one, to show you guys excuse me, to show you guys how to make the chain for my bracelet, the one that I use for this bracelet. Really easy, makes it look really cute. Okay, so taking our 2.5 inch 14 gauge, we're going to do the same thing. You could even use the second. I think we're going to use the second biggest one. Yeah, let's go use the second from the smallest size. Okay. We're going to use the bigger size. And a loop, 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 loop. Okay. Push it in just a tad. And let's go snip just a little bit. Not much. Take our hammer, a bench block. That one's finished. Now we're going to be making the smaller clasp. This one is 18 gauge. I've used 18 gauge round dead soft wire, 2.5 inches. Okay. We're going to need our round nose pliers for this one. We're going to make a tiny, tiny, tiny loop. can even use your flat nose pliers to straighten it. Push it down just a little bit. Okay, so for this one, we used the second from the biggest. Okay, now for this one, you guys, you're going to have to go a little bit farther up for the loop. Okay. I'm going to push. Grab this. I'm going to do a little bend. Okay. On this side, we're going to snip. Then I'm going to band in just a little bit. I hammered this part right here, the top. That's done. So that's it. So we made our French hooks for our earrings with the 18 gauge, and this one is also the 18 gauge for our small bracelet clamps. I mean clasps. Clamps. We did make the 14 gauge single loop or single swirl clasp, and our double loop or double swirl 14 gauge clasp. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you learned something today, and if you have any comments or any requests and ideas and stuff, please let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and I will see you soon.